when I think of, like a Truls or like even Kristian's got ridiculous feeling. I know Mateus is slightly different with the pips. You're more like, I feel like power.
Kristian has a ridiculous feeling.
That's the first I've heard that.
All right.
All right, next episode up, and it's a big one. Swedish sensation, Olympic silver medalist, Anton. But I'm going to stop there because I don't want to pronounce your surname, because the number one comment we see whenever you play on YouTube is always, why is he saying Shelbury? Why is he saying Källberg? Why is he saying all of this? So Anton, the mic is yours. For the first time, can you confirm how you want your surname to be pronounced?
It's probably the most common question I get all the time. Yeah, how to say your name? How to say your name? Is it Shelbury? No, it's not Shelbury.
Yeah.
So the Swedish way to say it is Källberg, Anton Kallberg. So, but I know it's very difficult for people to say it in the right way.
Because we hear it as almost like...
Maybe you hear Källberg.
I was like, that sounds like Shelbury.
But I don't know, in my ears or in Swedish ears, it's not Källberg. So I kind of prefer Källberg or Källberg. But I think that's easier and makes more sense to people.
Källberg, nice. Well, it's great to have you on the show. Thanks so much for joining here. Obviously, we're at Montpellier. Champions are still in the event and playing so well right now. And Matt, you were phenomenal in Paris. Silver medal, but that victory over Harimoto, wow.
I actually want to show you. So I was there.
In the rafters.
So this is my view. This is the final point. What do you remember of this? So this is like 9-all. We'll put it on the screen for everyone so they can see.
9-all. I remember I turned to the bench and I see Kristian, who's a very emotional guy normally. I just feel like he's completely blank.
He's poker facing,
Like he's not there anymore. Okay, it's like he's really nervous.
Okay, because he's basically looking at you going, dude, come on. That's in his head. He is extremely nervous for that situation.
Yeah, it's like, okay, focus now, focus.
Oh my God.
You're on, serve, receive. Like, look at that celebration.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened there. I remember Truls came, I was like, please just pull me up. I don't want to use my legs anymore. I'm so tired. And obviously it's just like one of the greatest moments in my life.
Unbelievable. To the team to be kind of 2-0 down, to fight back.
Yeah.
Just madness.
Yeah, also, I don't really know how it happened, how it was done. I remember being down 0-2 and just like, it's going to end like this. It's kind of boring now. Was this all there was in the end? And then somehow, the team on the bench really made me believe, really kept pushing me all the time. Gave me some great advice and to change, and I don't know.
Do you remember, was that tactical advice or was it just like go and play, go be Anton?
It's just a little bit tactic. I think Truls came with advice, just make straight service to backhand, for example, and then it fits your game better, or he cannot receive as well on that serve. I think that changed a lot, and then I told myself, okay, don't be afraid of his backhand. I know he has a great backhand, but okay, I have to challenge him there. So I tried to put more pressure there, and then eventually I could also come around and finish points off with my forehand. So that, I think, changed everything.
God, there were some shots that you played which were so good. Because Harimoto's game is so good, right? He's spinny, he's so rapid. And you were countering with the backhand, you were pivoting with the forehand. There was a few forehand pivots that you did which were so aggressive. You were like, as soon as you turned, you're like, he is not getting this back. And the amount of power you put into the ball, you know what I mean? I don't know if you remember this or you were in the zone.
I remember one point especially. I serve, he played banana to my back and I step around. I remember the feeling when I hit was like, it was not supposed to be that hard. Like, it was way harder than I intended and just came up, really shocked myself.
Joe, there's the one, big one.
Yeah, it's like, exactly.
But that's your body going to the absolute extreme in that environment. You know what I mean? It's like a weightlifter that tries to lift something heavy that it's never been to lift before, right? You're in this moment where you know you just got to just go for it, I guess. And that the moment is just massive as well. To be able to pull that off, so amazing.
I remember as well, when you pulled back the first set, so you were 2-0 down, you then obviously won the next set to 2-1, and Harimoto went for a toilet break. I don't know if you remember it, but he left the court and either went to change his top or a toilet break. But there was like a good few minutes of like just standing in the corner. It was like, this is, if it's a like a conscious tactic to try and slow you down. Like it's a really good ploy. I don't know if you remember that at all. It looks like you don't. Yeah.
Now when you say it, I remember it, but I also know it happens sometimes. Or I've seen that he does it sometimes, that he needs to take a break, or I don't know if it's intentional or what to say. I think also Hermoto had a really great Olympics. He just lost, unfortunately, in the last couple of matches. So I felt a bit sorry for him as well. I think it was really heartbreaking to see. So I'm happy for him that he got some revenge at the Asian Championships last week.
Done really well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Done really well. And you can see we've been talking about it a lot, but the last couple of years, but especially last year, a lot of players have just really started to maybe not improve, but just get big results, and it's good. It's like there's lots of upsets. It's very hard to predict who's going to win now, and it's just fantastic for the game.
Yeah, thanks to Malone for not competing every tournament, I guess.
Is that what it is? Yeah. What makes him so good?
Malone?
Yeah.
I mean, how much time do you got?
Yeah. Try and do it in like a one paragraph. What is it that has made him the GOAT?
He's really, really smart. I mean, obviously he's very complete as a player. He has so good service, so good forehand, and then he can kind of outsmart you in some moments, and he can be more stable and makes really the difference at 9-9 or 10-10.
So safe, isn't he? So safe.
Yeah. I want to ask, since becoming silver medalist, have you got any perks outside of, like, Truls has got he's getting sponsored by a robot Hoover I've seen. Talk to me. Are you flying business class everywhere now? Like what?
Nah.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm not on the Truls level. I like to stay more
grounded.
Ground,
yeah, you don't have the two medal, like the glasses on and the selfies that he's doing. Yeah.
No, but he's very funny to follow in that way. So
Sweden is such a powerhouse for table tennis, and it always has been because of Waltner, Persson, and the era back in the day. And now you guys have had such an incredible performances at Olympics. Do you feel like Sweden now is back on the up? More people are going to start playing again, and are you seeing that more?
For sure, we are up and coming more. We are not on the same level as Wagner and Persson. Then they, of course, have so many World Championships, gold medals, Europeans. They were dominating a long time, so we still have some work to do. But I think we're on the way, and I think a couple of years ago, kind of started to get a little bit better, or in the national team. Then people always asking and comparing to Wagner and Persson, like how. What happened to Sweden, or why is it not as it was before? So now it's more like, okay, is this now maybe new generation? What happened? How can we keep growing to reach that level? So I think that's really great.
Is there anyone in that, like 14 years old to kind of 16 years old, that's going to be the next one of you coming into that team? Is there anyone in there that you'd pick out, or is it?
I'm not sure.
Reason why we say this is because if you look at Japan right now and Korea and China, they're even France at a minute, they're good at bringing through the next generation.
Conveyor belt.
Yeah, and we're noticing that with the other countries, and just wondering, how is it in Sweden with that now? With the rise of what you guys are doing. Yeah,
I'm not sure, but to be honest, I was also not at that level at that age. So even though if you're not at the
this is something we want to talk about later. Yeah. Let's go into that.
Well, this is kind of, we were noticing that in the Bundesliga for a while, obviously you left and been long-term in Germany with Borussia Düsseldorf, but your Bundesliga performances were phenomenal, but there seemed to be a period of time where it wasn't converting on the international stage, but that you seem to now have climbed over that hurdle, and you seem to now be performing at the same level. Was that something that you noticed and worked on, or was that just you prefer to play in a team setting, or what do you think was happening there? Or is that even fair? Do you think it's?
I think in the beginning, now maybe 6-7 years ago, it was definitely true that I was playing better for the club than I was internationally. Then what made that change? I think I became a better table tennis player overall. I became more stable, and also I gained some more confidence and some more peace, I think, also on the world tour, which I maybe didn't have before. I felt probably more nervous, more pressure, more stress than I was in the league, and I was maybe scared to lose, which made me lose in the end.
Yeah.
There are some players coming through who are 14 now, like we saw it, the lad from Iran who took out Wang Chuqin. Incredible performance. And there's other players. Harimoto came on the scene at the age of 11. But, you don't need to be absolutely world class as a junior to then get to the very, very top. You know, as you said, like when you're a junior and coming through, it takes a long time, right? It takes a lot of graft, and you know, and now you're in your peak. People out there need to, you need to know it just takes a lot of time, a lot of work,
yeah,
right?
for sure.
You
like
moved
there's
to
no
Germany.
stress, even though if you're not your top level when you're 15. I mean, you have so many years left. There's really no stress.
And I think that's important for people to know, right? Because when I talk to a lot of different players, like some players say, "Oh, I didn't start playing till I was 12," and I was like, "What, 12?" Like, you always hear players start at the age of 4 or 5 or 6, right? And there are other ways to get to the top without just needing tons and tons and tons of hours of practice.
What was around your decision? Because I think it was we kind of 16, 17 when you made the move to Germany full time.
Yeah, I think I was 17. So I was 14 when I moved away from home. I moved to another city in Sweden just for table tennis. I was starting 8th grade. And I remember I had a talk with my father. He was like, "Hey, do you really want to give it a chance with table tennis? Do you want to give everything and try to become as good as you can?" I remember, I said, "Yeah, I would like to." And then it's like, "Okay, then I think you probably have to do this thing." I think he hated it as well, that I had to move away from home and I had to leave the family. But my family was always really supportive and thinking this is the way it has to be if I want to follow my dream. So I think then I was around 12, 13 years old.
Wow.
Takes a lot of commitment and discipline and sacrifices, right? And a lot of players around Europe have done something similar where they move away and
Pitchford.
Pitchford went to Oxenhausen, and I mean it takes a lot of sacrifice to get to your level, doesn't it?
Yeah, it takes sacrifice, of course. That's why you need to enjoy what you're doing.
You need to really love the game.
Yeah, if you don't, then of course the sacrifices are not worth it. But if you enjoy it and you can find a way to love it, then the sacrifice is going to be worth it.
When you were 14, did you really love the game? Was you obsessed? Or was it like, "Oh, I'm good and I'll give it a go"?
No, I really loved it, I think.
Yeah.
I remember people asked me in school, like, what do you do when you don't practice? Or what do you like to do to have fun? It's like, "No, practice is the most fun thing I know." I'm coming here in the new city and it's great players and I can practice as much as I want. Like, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Did you ever think when you were 14 and you made this decision, you'd one day have a silver Olympic medal?
No way.
No way. Like, you literally thought, "I'd love to be an Olympic medalist, but that's just not possible."
Yeah, I mean, I could say it as a dream or someone asked, what's the dream in the future? Yeah, sure, Olympic medal, but inside I didn't really believe it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And did the Swedish team going into Paris, did you guys go, "Let's try and medal," or "Let's just try and get to quarterfinals"? Was there actually a target amongst you guys and the coaches? Or would that be too much pressure to say, "Oh, let's try and get a medal"?
I mean, sure, we tried to get a medal.
So you guys discussed it before the event? Like, let's try and get a medal?
I think everyone knew it.
Yeah.
Like, it was the obvious goal and dream for the tournament. We knew it was going to be really tough. Of course, it depends on the draw. Maybe we play China in the quarterfinals already, which makes it all much harder. But I think we all wanted it. We all knew it was possible, but we were seeded, 5 or 6. So, of course, that has to be the goal going into the tournament. And I think for me, then Truls showing the way in the singles event, and suddenly you just sit on a tribune and see him play the Olympic singles final was a huge moment for me to see, like, this is really possible.
Wow.
This is really happening right now. So then for us starting the teams event the next day, it's like, okay, we can do the same. Why not? He just showed us it's possible.
I love it.
It was Denmark the next day, wasn't it? After the final, straight in. And then obviously at Germany, wasn't it?
Germany in quarterfinal, yeah.
You beat Timo.
Yeah.
3-1 to go through.
There was a sad and happy moment. Yeah. I think sad to see him leave. And I remember also it went through my head before match points, like, hey, this might be now the end of the Timo Boll's international career. So mixed feelings.
Yeah.
So you had that at match point. You're thinking that.
I had it going through my mind. It's like, okay, no, I have to focus now. I have to focus on the match now. But
and you kept just bringing yourself back to the moment and trying to remove that thought.
Yeah, I also thought about it before the match. Okay, this might be his last match.
Yeah.
I was aware of that going into it.
Yeah. You must be really good friends with him. Like, spent years together.
Exactly. He's been in Düsseldorf since I came, which is, I don't know, maybe 8 years now or something like that.
Which must have been awesome moving to Düsseldorf and having Timo there.
Yeah.
Learn a lot. And
really the perfect teammate. I would say that I could learn so much from him. Going in, especially to the big matches when I start to play finals in the league and Champions League, to see how calm and confident he was. And I feel like, hey, you do your best. If you lose, you lose and it's fine and life goes on. If you win, it's great, and then we can celebrate and have a good time. But yeah, just to feel that from the beginning was a really great experience for me.
Because I feel like the two of you potentially have quite similar personalities, where you're both quite calm, laid back. No, not like you said earlier about you not really want to be in the limelight like Truls and stuff. Different personalities of that. So maybe actually Timo was really good for your development in terms of, like you said, you're observing him. Maybe it was a different person at the club. You might not have maybe learnt the same sort of skill sets from him or the way he is.
Yeah, I think also in the beginning I tried to learn more from his way of playing, like analyze his shots and his playing style,
like the touch on the ball and stuff.
But then I realized after a while, okay, I cannot. It's no use. I'm not gonna learn that. So I learned more how he's thinking and how his mental thinking going on, how he's accepting different situations in the matches. I think it's really great.
Why couldn't you learn what he was trying to do? We spoke to a lot of players who said, you got to try and take a little bit from everyone. And I think a lot of people do look at Timo and think, how does he do what he does? Like, the way he contacts the ball, he's so quick at the table. Yeah. Why is it difficult to kind of copy him?
I think every player's hard to copy. Everyone has their own playing style. If you look at every player are playing different. So you have a certain feeling and playing certain ways where you feel more comfortable and what is working for you. So maybe I cannot learn things from him and maybe he cannot learn things from me, which would also help him improve, for example. Mm-hmm. I think he has a very special way of playing. Just his touch and his feeling is just very, very, very difficult to build up and to learn.
And to copy.
Yeah, it would take hundreds of years, I think.
Be like Timo in 100 years' time if you're an AI robot.
It's interesting. Like I said it to Dan. We were watching your match with Van Jong, and I was like, Anton doesn't seem to fit the Swedish mold of like feeling table tennis, like that Scandinavian mold of when I think of like a Truls or like even Kristian's got ridiculous feeling. I know Matthias is slightly different with the pips. You're more like, I feel like power.
Kristian has a ridiculous feeling.
That's the first I've heard that.
All right.
We were burning him. Yeah,
I mean, but yes, I trick shots on.
What it was is because we did that match against him at Hennebon, and basically Kristian was just tearing us all apart.
Yeah.
Okay,
we're taking
perhaps.
We're taking. What's the word? We're taking because he played us before he went to Paris and then medalled. We reckon that we were a big part of his preparation.
Huge part of it. Huge part. Huge. Like 99% of it.
Yeah. Without us.
But I know what you're saying though, Joe, about the feeling stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, take Waltner, right? Like chop blocks, Truls has chop blocks, all this stuff. But you have, like, if he was on the Japanese team, you'd be like, oh, there's Anton on the Japanese team. Like the more of like I feel a strength in the shot. There's power.
And even like little things of like ready positions. I feel like you're always down and ready and loaded, as opposed to maybe
like Truls is a bit more like Truls just chilling sometimes.
Yeah,
there's more. It's
a
different.
bit more upright and a bit more loosey goosey.
Yeah, I think that's the way table tennis is working the best for me. I think that's how I'm playing the best, and I would also love to just hit trick shots and play so like with so much fancy and creativity, but it's unfortunately just not who I am.
It's how you're wired. Yeah. That Truls under up thing against Fan Jindong was outrageous, wasn't it?
It was.
It was just a joke. Like to do it in that stage as well, where the whole world media's watching, the camera angles are everywhere. You're just like, Truls, how have you pulled that off? Well, brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
a big moment.
I wanted to ask mixed doubles at the Olympics. Obviously, your sister plays and she played with Kristian this time. How come How come is it just the kind of Kristian's left-handed or is there like, because you've played doubles a couple of times with Stina?
Yeah, we played quite many years ago. And then I think my level went down a little bit. Truls went up, so she started to play with Truls instead.
She binned you off, mate.
That's actually hilarious.
No, brother.
It's so funny.
I think it was the better way.
Yeah.
And then obviously Kristian is a world-class doubles player. And then they started to play mixed double and they played also really, really well. So, of course, I would like to be in Kristian's spot and I would like to play with her as well. But what can I say? I have no hard feelings for her wanted to play with Kristian or for them two to play together.
It's like the styles maybe as well, I guess, that work. Or it's like me and my wife are terrible doubles partners. Like terrible. Like we lose to anyone. We're like, all right, we're not doing that again. It just doesn't seem to work. She's a good player. Doesn't work.
I feel like I'd go down with my wife to like pick the serve, be like backspin serve. She'd be like, no, topspin. I'm like, no, backspin.
Exactly. So maybe when it's like close, like relative, family, whatever, maybe it's slightly different when you got someone disconnected. I don't know.
Yeah, could be like that.
What do you like to do in your spare time? Because I noticed you're rocking the PewDiePie, who's obviously a very famous YouTuber.
He's the goat of YouTube. Oh,
yeah,
now Mr. Beast coming along.
Maybe Mr. Beast is overtaking him. But yeah, obviously I like PewDiePie a lot. I followed him for many years. But this is a question I kind of hate, to be honest, like what I do in my free time, because it's not interesting at all.
Oh, no.
Hey, that makes it interesting.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. So obviously I'm around playing different tournaments and league matches. So when I'm at home, I just like to relax and spend some time at home with my girlfriend and our cat and just have a calm time. But
yeah, well, you're in it's an intense training. Table tennis is intense. You've got to have your downtime, right, and relax.
Well,
yeah, I think so.
You listen to music, like what?
Yeah, I like music, watching TV shows or YouTube or stuff like that. So I was really excited last week. My favorite Swedish band, who retired 8 years ago, they had like this big funeral tour that they were going to stop, and then now they announced they're coming back for 3 concerts next week. I'm really excited for that.
You got tickets?
They will release them Saturday, so I will sit online, refreshing the page as fast as I can.
Just tell them, hey, I'm a silver medalist. Give me backstage, guys.
Truls is already working on it to get something.
Of course he is. See, that's I could have Truls got his PR team on it.
I can imagine you out in the Infinity Arena, like, time out, I need to go and book my tickets.
Yeah. You take a Harimoto time out, go for a toilet, get the laptop out.
Yeah. What's the band's name? Shout them out.
They're called Kent. They were the biggest rock or pop band for maybe 20 years in Sweden.
All right, well, let's check them out.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
They're fantastic.
You mentioned TV shows. Like, what are you watching? Or is there like a really great one that you've watched?
What I watched the most is probably How I Met Your Mother back in the days. I think I watched it over and over and over and over for too many times, and just like to have something on in the background when being at home or relaxing.
You got a Netflix account?
I do.
You love asking this question.
It's a relentless idea. Netflix is great though, isn't it? Just
maybe one day this will be on Netflix.
Yeah. What's your best piece of advice you've learned, as a player, like you can give to us listening that will really help people improve? Your number one thing.
Yeah, or like...
But we're just trying to improve, Anton. It's a hard game.
I think it depends very much on in which stage you are maybe in your career, or when you just started playing, or are you already a pro player.
What about for your game? Is there like a piece of advice you remember that someone gave you and you're like, oh, that's genius?
I would say then in like mentally thinking, what's a very simple and easy way, just accepting things as they are, kind of helped me when I was struggling before, when I was not feeling well in matches and I was thinking, thoughts just coming through your head. I'm about to lose, I'm playing bad and whatever. Just, okay, you accept it, you play bad, you accept it, you might lose, and just try to get on with it and live with it, and then you do your best, and what happens. And I think that is something that I carry with me.
I guess it's maybe most pro athletes have that. Jonathan Groff said the exact same thing, and maybe because there's so many ups and downs in sport, and maybe to get to the top, you have to have high levels of adversity and high levels of, we're talking about Harimoto earlier, where he's had his ups and downs, and maybe for him to win that Asian Championships, he needs to have very high levels of acceptance and just go out and keep attacking.
I mean, I know you love talking about Ma Long, but if you look at the early career of Ma Long, he was top player in the world, but he didn't have that final, victory at the World Championships or
absolutely
the biggest result. But he overcame that somehow, and then he became the greatest of all time.
Anton, imagine Ma Long if he was imagine if he was like during the Janjika era, if he was able to have not had that, overcome this, and he just already had what he had now back then, he'd have like 4 Olympic medals. You know what I mean? Wang Hao took him out a couple of times. Janjika did. He would have like 4 straight Olympics. He'd go down as the best Olympian of all time. Not even table tennis player. Such a fine line. Because he lost out so narrowly as well. Here I am going about Marlon again. But he's great, isn't he? I met him the other day. I couldn't speak.
He got the chance to ask him a question.
I had to repeat it about 3 times.
Yeah, and Marlon, bless him, just stood there like this.
Marlon knew what's going on. He's seen me for years, spying on him with the camera. He knows the situation. Bless him, there he is again.
We were very tactical. We got a shirt signed by him, like a Li-Ning China shirt. But we knew we had to catch him at a very specific point where there was no security and like where he's walking back to his hotel. But we were like, oh, Marlon, would you mind signing a shirt? And he was literally like, no problem.
He was great.
Signed it. And we were like, we love you.
We love you. And just started laughing, didn't he?
It was just after his match, before the final in China Smash. We were like, you get a good night's sleep. And he's like, okay. It was
great.
The weirdest thing. Yeah.
Cute. His English is good now as well.
Yeah.
Which I think is, hopefully the Chinese players do start improving their English as a whole, right? Because we all want to hear them as well, and more connected to the sport, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I want to ask, if you could take one skill from a player, maybe a shot or maybe their strength or from anyone on the world scene, what would you take? Would it be, I don't know. For me, my one would be Krianga's backhand. I'm taking that every day.
But then if you had that Krianga backhand, would it work in today's, work in our local league stuff, won't it? Of course it would. I'm just thinking that the game has changed so much, hasn't it? So like Krianga's big backhand.
Don't care.
Anton's like, I want that Krianga backhand.
Yeah, I mean, I want a backhand for sure. Which one? I don't know.
Hey, but your backhand's
Darko, Benek, Ola, something.
Or Hugo. Even Hugo.
Of course, yeah.
You're right about Lin Shidon's backhand. It's strange. Like, it's so good. It's just, and it's nothing to it. And it's you know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah, it looked like the movement is so short, but it's so powerful.
Yeah, what's going on there then? Just... He's found.
I don't know. He has the perfect timing, I guess, the perfect technique.
Every time. And it's so easy for him to execute. It's like for us to do like a little block, he's doing that same consistency with just like a tsh.
Yeah.
He was doing it against that. Marlon in that final.
Marlon.
But it's
he
weird.
does it every match.
Yeah, he does it every match. I saw him in a training hall yesterday. He's obviously here at Montpellier. And he just makes it look effortless. Yeah.
Yeah, him and Champong were knocking, weren't they? And it was just so high level.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of the players have talked about it where the Chinese guys in the training hall are outrageous. Like even for pros to watch the Chinese guys, you're like mesmerized. But in a match, it's different. There's styles that can stop them, doing that. But it's not just about what you look like in the training hall, right? And that's why the next generation of Chinese players, it will be interesting because it took Marlon a long time, and maybe the next Olympics, if Marlon's retired and Fan Zhendong, we've not seen him as much, maybe we can get a new Olympic champion that's not a Chinese player. Truls was close.
We came very close in Paris.
I mean, if Harimoto took out Truls, then it would have been Fan Zhendong. Then it would have been a non-Chinese Olympian. Could have been Truls. Yeah,
silver medalist. Yeah,
such a fine line, isn't it?
Yeah, it would have been good.
Anton next.
Why we love the sport. There's so small margins all the time. Can go either way.
Would be good to get a WTT event in Sweden. Especially with the rise of you guys.
That would be nice. Didn't you?
It
was a feeder, right?
It was a feeder.
Smash in Stockholm would do wonders, wouldn't it?
Well, obviously, US Smash has just been announced for Vegas, which I'm lobbying. I'm saying, Steve, look, I know you need to be in a convention center, but did he watch UFC at the Sphere?
True. That would be sick.
That is what we need.
Could you imagine that? Yeah, that would be awesome.
Apparently it costs like 20 million to put on though for the UFC. WTT, we need to get in the Sphere.
Imagine the replays on the screen. Even the players would do a good shot and just stand there and watch. You'd be like, oh yeah, that was a nice one.
When you saw the US Smash, is that something you got excited about, or was it just kind of like, oh, cool, it's another tournament? Or is it like when you're in the place, do you get to go and explore like Montpellier or Vegas or Beijing a lot, or is it just kind of another hall, another infinity arena? Doesn't really matter where it is.
Depends a little bit how it goes. Does it go well? Maybe you don't have so much time to experience, so it's a good sign. But if you don't, then you have time to experience. So in Las Vegas, I think many players for sure wants to see what it's like there, being there for the first time. A lot of us, and I think it was our thought as well when we heard Las Vegas. Is it a Sphere?
Yeah,
can we make it a Sphere?
That'd be so cool.
Hey, maybe see if we can pull it on.
Well,
it's been announced the venue though, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Fair. Next time.
Yeah, we'll build it.
Yeah, I love that.
That's going to be our initiative. We're going to try and get...
I have the podcast at the start in the Sophia right before the Tailson starts. Just everyone on the big screen. Just us in the middle.
Can you imagine?
That'd be cool.
When you go to practice or train, what are you working on at the moment for your game? Is there like maybe a weakness, something that you're trying to get better? Or is it a case of there's so many matches, just keep feeding me forehand so that I feel really confident and I can kill the ball when I want?
Yeah, I think right now when it's a lot of matches, you go just from tournament to tournament. There's not too much time to think about changing your technique, perhaps, or more specific stuff. So it's more like just keeping the feeling there or develop the feeling for the new venue, the new material that you're playing on. And just to keep your body in good shape. I think that's very, very important. Then when you practice at home, then maybe you can focus more about, okay, I would like to play backhand more like this, perhaps, or to change to new service, to new playing system, more like that. But for now, just practicing the feeling.
We noticed as well about your service. So our editor, Tom, who edits all the videos, you're his favorite server when you do the hook serve. But he's like, Anton doesn't seem to do it that much anymore. There seems to have been a change where you go much more to the pendulum. Is that what's going on there?
Yeah, so it was already a couple of years ago. I think in the juniors and the beginning of my senior time, then I made a lot of the hook serve. It was working pretty well, but then at one point it was not so great anymore. So I felt like I had to change something. And I also felt it was fun to try something new, to change something new. So it was also like a little bit of a new start for me. And then I also felt like I started to play better. I felt like the new serve was also working better than the old one. It was better. And now I feel more like, hey, maybe I have to go back a little bit and to bring in the old serve into my game as well.
Well, like Wan Chuqin does it. Lin Shidong has it.
I think I did it against Lin Shidong in the end. And it was working, but it was already too late. So I probably should have done it earlier already.
You can have that tip for free, all right? We won't charge you for that.
Next time you play Lin Shidong.
Well, you have to play here at Montpellier. You've got the winner of Harimoto and Uda, right? Who are playing today.
Yeah.
Are you going to go and watch that game? Or is it just you'll check in later and see kind of who won?
I mean, I'm going to check the match later. First see who won and then to check the highlights and to analyze and see how their match was here today and then prepare for that. But I think I don't like to analyze too much because I think then you might lose this sharpness in the match or you have to be really aware of what's happening. You cannot see everything like before to know that he's like to play like this or like this. So in the match, it's more like be aware what does your opponent want to do, what is he thinking at the moment and stuff like this.
I remember once I spoke to Samsonov and he said like within a couple of, he thinks a big thing between a pro and an amateur is within the first couple of points, a pro is really good at picking up what tactics is needed and what the weaknesses of the opponent is, whereas an amateur might take 2 sets or 3 sets, like the lower down players. Do you find when you're playing someone, is it just very quickly you go, oh, this is the tactic or this is what's working? Are you thinking about that all the time or is it just, I need to play well?
I think it's a fine balance that you have to focus on the tactic and focus on just playing well yourself. So it can be from match to match what is the right approach. But of course, it's very impressive if he can know only after a few points how he should play. I think I cannot know that fast. For me, it takes maybe 2 sets.
Yeah. The reason why I know this is because I played him and he put it into my middle and he goes, oh, I've got you sussed. And I was like, oh, what does that mean? And then he straight away told me, oh yeah, it takes me a few points. And I know my opponent inside out. And I was like, oh, okay, it's going to take you half a point against me then. But, it was very interesting the way he was just like that. But obviously his game style, again, is different. It's a bit more feeling. He uses the opponent, right? So, like, I guess he is more tactically thinking, maybe, again, a different style.
I was thinking this as well. We need to set up a Legends exhibition or a Legends League, right? Get me... Well,
like Legends Tour, they had that, right? The ITF one at one point.
Well, we need to bring it back.
Yeah.
With the new branding. Yeah.
What, a WTT version?
Yeah. Kranga, Maze, all these icons, Wang Chin, Marlin, just
get them in the Infinity Arena.
Yeah. And get them playing in exhibition points. Let them have the old ball. Let them speed glue. A lot.
The game has changed so much since the ball and stuff, hasn't it?
Did you have to adjust your game much when the ball changed?
No, I think I was lucky. The change of the ball would just benefit in my game. I really saw that I was starting to play better and I could make better results when it changed to plastic ball. But I was quite young, so it's not like I had developed my game yet.
I think for the senior players that had already had such a well-established game, like Michael Mays, that generation of players. And then the youngsters coming through, the plastic ball timing was really good. Because you didn't have as much, muscle memory as well, like your game is so solid with a certain type of way.
So that's very impressive. All the players who kept their level at the really top to just adapt to all the changes happening.
Well, Timo Boll is the perfect example for that, right? It's just phenomenal. I guess Marlon as well. He went through that. And cool, man. Right, who you got to practice with now? You got to go and practice
with the dude. Yeah.
With the dude, yeah, he's done well, isn't he? Silver medal, Europeans.
Yeah.
I've heard he's the hardest trainer. Like he works the hardest in the hall. You're at Düsseldorf. He's there often. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think especially a few years ago, it was really insane how many hours he put in during the day. Is way too much for me to
yeah, like he would be in there before you guys get there, right? Let's say the session's at 9 a.m. He's already there at 7 doing multiple serve practice.
Yeah, and then he's there back and forth until 10 o'clock in the evening.
Really? Okay, that amount.
Start over again.
Wow. So it kind of goes to show like, he's put that effort in. He's got himself a silver in the Europeans. You know, he's found the way. And you know, we're not seeing massive amounts of Duda at that later stages of an event. So all that graft.
Yeah, I'm so happy for him for this achievement. Really, it's so incredible to see that all this work paid off with a silver medal.
Fair play.
How does it work when you want to train at one of these tournaments? Do you just text each other like, hey, do you want to train tomorrow at 10 a.m.?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot of time. They're like, I'm sorry, I've already got someone. You're like, damn.
So
you're getting down the pecking
order. You're looking
order.
for someone to warm up before the match, and if you're late, it's like, sorry, I already got one. Sorry, I already got one. Then you're standing there. So then we were lucky to have Jürgen as a coach for so many years. So he was always ready to play, and he loved to play as well.
That is a good point because, Jürgen was with you guys for a few years and saw, obviously, the team win in Malmö. And between him and Stellan Benson with the 2021 Worlds, that's now changed. You got Tobias is here. Is it Tobias?
Yeah,
is here with you.
Yeah.
How has that kind of coach input changed? Is there are they different styles of coaching? Is one more tactical, technical, or is it?
Yeah, I think they're different kind of people. Of course, now it's the first tournament with Tobias, and that we don't have Jürgen here. So I think Tobias also really good in his way. I think he also a lot of thoughts and interesting inputs of the game. Jürgen is, of course, contributing with so much experience. I remember having in the beginning, I could just feel like he has been in this situation 100 times himself. So he knows what to do. He knows that everything is fine. Just make a few changes and you can work this thing out. So I think really the experience part and the calmness with Jürgen on the bench was really great.
And the humor, because he's a very funny guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's never in a bad mood. You can always joke around with him and have a laugh. So it's like, this relaxed feeling.
Another key person to kind of your development and the team's development over the last, however many years as well.
Yeah, I mean, look at the results we had since we started. It's fantastic.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. Anton, we'll get back to the training hall then with Duda. Dude, should I say, as everyone's calling him. But thanks so much for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate the time.
It was a blast.
It's been awesome. All right. So guys, if you want to check out WTT, be sure to head over to WTT.com, World Table Tennis, or they've got an app as well to check out all the results here at Montpellier. Anton, thanks so much and best of luck with the competition.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
You're the man. Great chat. Loved it.